Hey y'all, hey, I am so sorry. Technology just really didn't want us to be great today, but that's okay because we're gonna do it anyway. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm learning. Look at my little buckwheat up here. Buckwheat. What I'm learning is when things don't go your way, when you stub your toe, when you get up in the morning and it's hurting, like shh, and you're doing all those, them fancy dancy words and all that. Sometimes you just got to breathe and you don't let that set the tone of what you need to do. When I tell you this day has been crazy, and then to get home and to be like, boop, 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 and then technology doesn't work, it's like, ah. But it's one of those things that I'm learning how to just let it go. Otherwise, I used to get it so worked up and be like, freezing. So just my little 2 cents for that. But welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Real Talk with Real Woman Grinding. I missed you guys. Yes. Last time we spoke, we had an attorney on who was talking about trademark. Well, this time we have someone who's going to be talking about the legal services that's available to you based off what she does. Now, listen, this is a time where things are happening, with the Black Lives Matter movement, with I try to stay politically correct, but you know what I'm talking about. The police, the organization of the protection of those who's supposed to protect us, and the validation of different individuals within that organization who are not doing the appropriate things of what needs to happen to successfully ensure the safety of those they are going after, as far as arresting. We're talking about from traffic stops to just being at the grocery store shoplifting, different things like that, things that escalate to a whole different level to where it feels like it's unsafe, right? And so when things happen in your life, right, it could be you need a will, right? We all need those things. So if you don't have one, hint, hint, clue, clue, you need to get one. But having a will, for example, and just knowing who do you go to for a will? Do I need an attorney? It's best that you do, so they can do it for you. And so you don't have to there's no confusion about what you're doing when you leave this earth. So, but how do you find that? How do you get that? Are you concerned about the amount, the cost? What entails in that. Traffic tickets. My sister had one and she couldn't make it to the court, so she had to get an attorney to step in to help her with that traffic ticket, because she couldn't make it there, and the attorney successfully handled that for her. So little things like that makes a big difference if you do it and go solo by yourself. Well, in these clubhouse streets, I was able to meet a young lady who was just amazing. When she came to the platform, she told us about who she was, what her business was like, what her grind was, and it just made a lot of sense based off her experience. And so I want to introduce you all, and those who also know her and follow her on Facebook, none other than Miss Yvette Gentry. Hello, lovely. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am fabulous, fantastic, and simply amazing. Thank you so much for asking. You look beautiful.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
Yes, yes, I am too. And thank you for your patience with all this that's been happening. It's like,
Right.
looky here. Who are you? Now, I know who you are, but tell the good people in Facebook land, who is Miss Yvette Gentry? And more importantly, what is it that Miss Yvette Gentry does? What's your grind, beautiful? This is Janae.
Thank you, Janae. First, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited about the opportunity to be on this platform with you. She went away. Hopefully, there she is. You went away. I didn't know if you, can you still hear me?
I'm here. My little one was just, interrupting.
Awesome. Well, as you said, family, my name is Yvette Gentry, and my background is in law enforcement. This year it will be 23 years, a long time. And as an entrepreneur, I am a mother, a wife. I have 3 children, 2 birth children and 1 bonus daughter. I have 4 lovely, lovely grandchildren. ℧𝒃𝓁, Canon, Kaizen, and Capri. And they are the love of my life. And I am excited about what it is that I'm able to do every day with empowering people with the services that I offer. I got introduced to the services several years ago as a single mom at the time. I didn't know that I was going to find myself in that situation, but I found myself coming out of, being in the middle of a divorce. I had built a life on a 2-family household. So the car that I drove, where I lived, the lifestyle was based on a 2-income household. But once I went through that divorce, guess what? That 2-income household went down to 1 income, but I still lived in the same place. I still drove the same car, and I still wanted to maintain the same lifestyle for my children. And so I had to figure out how to replace that income, right? And so I was introduced to these services, and we'll get more into it a little later. But I was able to be able to earn the extra income that I needed to take care of me and my children. But I was able to do it around my schedule, and that's what was really exciting for me. But more importantly, Ⅎ𝒃, the services make sense. And I know how important it is. At the time, I didn't, to be honest. At the time, I didn't know how important it was. But since then, I've learned how important it is to be able to, I like to say, claim your seat at the legal table. Most of us are priced out of that unless they have a service like the one that I offer. But I'm proud to say that right now, my company protects 4.4 million families with these services. And it's just been a phenomenal journey for me and my family. But more importantly, Ⅎ𝒃, for the families that I protected. And it always makes my heart smile when I get a phone call from somebody and says, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this information with me. The attorneys were able to do this for me, or the attorneys were able to do that for me. And it just really makes my heart smile when that happens. You're on mute.
I'm trying to unmute myself. Can you hear me? I was like, I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Did you say 44 million?
4.4 million. Yeah, 4 million lives. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. You guys, that is a phenomenal number. Do you hear me? That's amazing. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. So you told us, and you've been in this profession for a long time, honey.
Yes.
You definitely got the subject matter expertise on it. So I love it. And the fulfillment that you get when people call you to say, hey, thank you so much for helping us. Okay.
Yes.
Wow, it's amazing. So, you talked about, your struggle of the 2 household income, going down to single, and you're still going at it, and you didn't let that deter you, put it that way. What I always see sometimes is that entrepreneurs, it's a lonely life if you allow it to be. Yes. But at the same time, there are some who allow the life obstacles or obstacles of life to hamper them. It's like, I say running track and field and going over those hurdles. When you go over the hurdles, you'll never see them just sit down and lay down. No, they get up. They can get up limping, but they get up and they keep going. And so you had an obstacle in your life that could have hindered you, that could have impacted your entrepreneurial profession, but you did not allow that to. You just went with it and just said, hey, I got to do what I got to do. I got to be the huntress of my family. I got to go out and get that meat. Yes. Otherwise, we ain't going to eat. So I commend you for that. And I commend you for not letting it go, because now you have been able to impact so many lives. Yes. Your purpose of being able, and just could you imagine those lives will not have been touched had you given up. So thank you. So with that being said, I'm going to ask you one more question, because you pretty much hit on everything. But I want to know, what are some key principles that you feel that every successful person should implement in their life?
I would say what my mentors taught me throughout my journey, and if I could back up just a little bit, I did not start out being an entrepreneur. I started out working a 9 to 5, and I still work my 9 to 5. And through that process of going through the divorce and working 2 jobs, I was introduced to the company. And I don't think that I said the company, but I am an independent associate with Ⅎ𝒃𝓁. And so that's the name of the company. And I have been involved since 2008. And so just to backtrack a little bit. So, and for the listeners, a lot of them may be like I was when I first heard of the word Legal Shield. Again, my background is in law enforcement, and I was raised in a household in a community that anything legal or anything that had to do with attorneys really only pertained to people that were in trouble, right? And so I thought initially, my background is in law enforcement. I don't get in trouble. I don't need anything like this. But thank God that I kept an open mind, Janae. And so for people that are listening that may think just like I did at the time, why would I need an attorney? I don't get in trouble. I want you to just kind of take a listen to, as I continue to talk, some of the things that the services are able to do for you. And so I kept an open mind. And as the gentleman was sharing the information with me, Janae, I thought about, wow, I could have called the attorney for this. I could have called the attorney for that, and nothing about being in trouble. And so that's the myth that I really want to debunk on today. If you don't take anything away from our time together, that Legal Shield and having access to your rights has way more to do than something that has to do in the criminal justice system, right? And so what we know is that, and what I've learned in this journey is that a lot of interactions that we have, they're legal interactions, but the average American does not deem them to be legal because, one, they don't have the financial resources to access an attorney, and two, they don't know who to call. And so they find themselves trying to figure it out. And so, we go to Google, or we call mama and them, or we call our friend, or we don't do anything at all, right? Until it's a code red. And so I am passionate about helping people, individuals, families, small business owners, to not always be on the defense. It's time for us to take our power back and be offensive in our lives, in protecting our rights and protecting our families, and not being reactive, not allowing life situations to dictate how it is that we do what we do, right? And so that is what Legal Shield is able to do, and that's what it's been able to do for me and my family. And so in terms of, the key points to being successful, I would say definitely work harder on yourself than whatever it is that you're trying to be successful in. You say, well, Yvette, what does that mean? Whatever it is that you're trying to do. I heard it was a story about a man trying to chop down a tree, right? And so he could have went out there and just kept chopping the tree until, he got it down, but he worked harder on the axe, making sure the axe was really sharp. And so in my business, in my journey as an entrepreneur, my mentors always told me to work harder on myself. So meaning a lot of personal development, right? And so being an entrepreneur is a lot different than working a 9 to 5, because there's nobody to tell you, hey, Vet, you got to get up and go get it. Hey, Vet, you got to make sure that you're doing this. You got to make sure that you're keeping your books. You got to make sure that you're documenting properly. There's nobody to tell you to do that. You have to do it yourself, right? And so if you don't do it, guess what? Like you said, you don't eat. And like you said, it's lonely. It can be lonely. What we know is that the road of an entrepreneur is lonely because guess what? We're the minority. We're not the majority, even though 2020 allowed a lot of people to really kind of step into their greatness, and a lot of small businesses were birthed out of the pandemic. But for the most part, being an entrepreneur is the minority. And so, when we're talking about one thing, talking to somebody that's working, the experiences are different. And so really having, what are you listening to? What are you reading? Making sure that you're working on yourself, because what I've also learned through this process is that whatever your journey is, whatever your grind is, your product is really people. right? Your product is really people. So you have to understand how to interact with people. We know that there are lots of different personality types. You have to understand how to interact with all those different personality types and how to forge relationships, because
Yes.
people don't buy your product or your service. They buy you first and then they figure the rest of it out. And so you got to make sure that your music is such that you're attracting people to you, so they can experience you, and your product or service is a byproduct. I would also say get a mentor. You can't do this alone, right? Unlike corporate America, or unlike a 9 to 5, you start a job, they might have somebody train you for the first 2 weeks. And then after that, guess what? You got to go get it, because they got policies and procedures and they got things that they expect for you to follow. But being an entrepreneur, it's not quite like that, right? And so being able to have somebody that can journey with you, being able to have somebody that you can, talk to and knock things, kick things off of, and go back and forth, and being able to talk to somebody on those good days and those bad days, right? Because being an entrepreneur is not always rosy, but at the end of the day, you know that you're doing what it is that you were birthed to do, right? And so having a mentor, personal development, I wrote some things down, and being intentional about what it is that you do with your time, what it is that you do with your talents, and who it is that you keep in your circle. Those things are huge when you're talking about on your road to success. And in this journey, when I got introduced to the services back in 2008, from 2008 to now, I've lost some friends, or those friendships have shifted because I'm different, right? And so because I'm different, those people around me are different. And so when you're being an entrepreneur, or whatever your business, your grind is, you have to understand that you have to surround yourself by people that are doing what it is that you're doing. But more importantly, people who have gone where it is that you are going, right? Because you can talk to them about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they've already paved the way, right? And so your learning curve can be a lot lessened if you listen. That's a part of it. If you listen and take the advice of those who have gone before you. But oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we might talk to, our friends or family members because it's comfortable and it's safe. But a mentor always said, if I buy the opinions of other people, I also buy their lifestyle. So if you sitting on the couch with me and we just kicking it or playing video games or something, that's not what it is that I want for my family. And so I want to be in the room with some people that are moving and shaking, that's doing some different things, that have what it is that I want. And so I need to forge relationships with those people, and be intentional, and do it scared.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, do it scared. Whatever it is, do it scared, because success is not found in your comfort zone. And so, and I'm talking to me, right? Success is not found in your comfort zone. We stay in our comfort zone because it's comfortable, right? Things are kind of, our houses look the way that we want our houses to look. Our cars look the way that we want them to look because it's comfortable. But when you're striving for success, we got to understand, we got to get outside of our comfort zone, because that's where the success is. That's where we are able to learn and grow. That's where we're able to live our best life outside of our comfort zone. It's okay to come back home and, kind of chill and get hugs from your friends and family, or get hugs from, stuff that's familiar to you. But when you really ready to grind, when you really ready to take your life to the next level, you got to get outside of your comfort zone and do it scared, no matter what. Because a good friend always told me that you don't have I'm going to say it wrong. You don't have the intention to do something that you don't have the ability to get done. I jacked it up a little bit, but you get the point. Whatever it is that you have the intention to do, God has already put inside of you the things you need to get it done. So just do it. Nike has made a lot of money off of those 3 words, right? Just do it. And so that's what I want to share with our listeners on today. Just do it. Just do it. Even if you do it scared.
That's it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Look, I ain't got nothing else to say. Y'all know? Man, she didn't just pass the collection plate, y'all. Pass the collection plate. She didn't drop that knowledge. So by now, y'all should have been the gems she has dropped. You should have been able to develop at least a necklace or a bracelet. I'm just saying, because you can listen to the replay those last nuggets that she said, because those are key to your success. I thank you so, so much. I want to shout out these individuals who are shouting out to you. Miss Annette Richards says, you're super. Justin says, good afternoon. He also said, boom, when you drop those nuggets. And Keyshawn says, hey, sis. And Robin says, yes. And Jay Bird said, Pack says, hello. And I want to say hello, Timothy. Hello, Sean. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, Eric. Hello, Tiffany. I thank you guys for all tuning in, listening to this beautiful young lady talk about her journey. Now, mind you, I want to remind you, she says she still has a 9 to 5, but that's not keeping her from grinding. I often tell you guys, every time we get together, you must always, it's out of necessity. It's not an option at this moment. If 2020 didn't teach you anything else, it is no longer optional. You must have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G. At least 7 streams of income.
Yes.
You heard me?
Yes.
So with that being said, I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, for coming on with your knowledge. But how can we find you? How can these young people follow you, find you? You know?
Right. How you can find me? So you can find me on Facebook at Ⅎ𝒃𝓁, and you can find me on Instagram at Ⅎ𝒃.Felton_Gentry. And thank you so much for having me. And if I could say one thing before I leave, it's definitely imperative that we have a plan B. I didn't know when I first started my entrepreneurial journey what my why was, but through this journey, what I've learned is that I want my grandchildren and my grandchildren's children to work because they want to, not because they have to.
Girl, you better say that.
It's possible. Being an entrepreneur, it's possible to make that happen. And so my goal is to change the financial legacy for my family. And so, Janae, I thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Thank you so much for those that have tuned in, and for those that have supported me and continue to support me on my journey. It's not over. The best is yet to come. And again, my name is Ⅎ𝒃𝓁. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Awesome. Take care. Everybody, let me tell you, before we close out, y'all know how I do. We love you. There's nothing you can do but love us back. All I ask is you pay it forward. It is FREE to support a small business, period. It is FREE. No money, no nothing, just to spread the word. The best form of advertisement is word of mouth. And she said something really key. Relationships is the new currency. But guess what? Social media is the new digital currency.
Yes.
So as you continue, you follow her. It doesn't cost nothing to follow anyone. Okay, you're not gonna break the bank. Her Instagram is right there. She just told you what her Facebook is. So it's not going to cost a thing. And that's another way that you can help someone. That's another way you can help your sister, your brother, or anybody that's in entrepreneurship, or anyone that's doing anything. Okay, if you can't give the money, but at least you can do the promo. Share it to your story. Say, go check this out. Oh man, you got to watch the store. Pay it forward. Hit the share button. Like, heart, all that. Get in her DM box. Say, hey, how you doing? Great. Love it. What's the services? Let me pay it forward to somebody else, because it may not be for you, but it might be for somebody else. Okay. We want you to wash your hands. We want you to wear your mask. We want you to stay 6 feet apart in these COVID streets. Stay safe. And if you're in a position where you can raise your hand above your head, crisscross them like applesauce, and bring those fingertips behind you. I want you to squeeze yourself. Consider yourself hugged and loved virtually. Staying COVID safe. Yeah. All right, y'all be blessed and have an enjoyable rest of your Thankful Thursday. Thank you, Yvette.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.